Hello and welcome to Minecraft. I'm going to echo yay because I can. There. Yes. This is Terminal 9. 8 has nothing on it. 7 was me just messing around. 6, 5, 4. I was listing things. There is a certain number of bytes free on the disk. Is that actually still accurate? That seems like that number should be lower than that at this point, but whatever. And Jello, which isn't a program, and of course I can switch to lib access, where if I look for tests or test, you can see I have found test.txt. I can also look up keyboards, which I'm just going to do KE because I know that'll link. A pre-22nd century device used for typing on computers. It has since been replaced with touchscreen tech. So yeah, you can go through the different entries in the library computer and you can read them. This entry contains several lines of text in order to test scrolling. And then it also has a smiley face down there. And you can see that we have the same options elsewhere. And everything is different systems or whatever. So you can see this terminal and these several terminals are different from the one that was over here. And if I go over to this one now, it's a new terminal. It's not the same terminal that was open. I might want to change that so that if you change terminals or whatever on the same monitor, then you should be able to go back to where you were on that monitor. That's what I want to do. This is going to be like an armory at some point. I gotta figure out how to make it so that I can wire things up so that this monitor can have like an access code or whatever that opens up this room to the computer. And, you know, same thing with this one over here. And then obviously this is the bridge. We have 3 terminals on each side and a main viewer, which as you can see has the same thing currently, but that will be changed to something else later on. I'm also going to make it so that they save what they were last on, so if you select something and then you shut down the system, they all pop back up with where they were. Not exactly where they were before, everything's still going to be new, but it will restore where it was. And the idea behind this is Star Trek. I like Star Trek, and there's this game called Artemis Spaceship Bridge Simulator. I've made a couple videos of it, like 3 videos of it, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought it would be fun to make something like that in Minecraft. Also, you can see my taskbar because I'm being incredibly lazy about recording this, and I don't care. And basically, I thought it would be fun to make a, like I said, a computercraft version of that kind of idea. The main difficulty that I had originally was having like I was originally going to make it so that like every station was a computer and then everything's networked, but then I realized, why do that when I can just have a whole ton of monitors connected to one computer and process it that way? And that is what I'm doing currently. I might add multiple computers. In fact, I will definitely add multiple computers at some point because I want you to be able to use the pocket computers as well as maybe some wireless stuff, as well as the potential to set up multiple ships and have wireless communications between them and like combat and stuff between multiple players, rather than it all being in a simulation, which initially it will all be in a simulation from the point of view of one ship. I just haven't gotten there yet. I mean, I literally only have library access and terminal right now, and I need help. Although if I type help right now, that won't really work. That entry does not exist in the library computer. Not found. And then also if I go over here, I type help into the terminal, then it's going to give me a list of topics, and it's going to want me to press any key to continue, which, as you can see right here, does not work. That is one program you have to be careful about doing anything with, because now the only way to continue on any of these screens, the only way to do anything, is to come over here and mash keys until it eats all of the keys that were in use for that program. And now other things will be usable, and you'll see that it has finished typing out what it was typing. So yeah, that's kind of what I was teasing at earlier today. And you know what? Let's go look at the code right now. Oh yes, because I just started working. I just got through implementing the multiple terminal code, which is this file right here. This is the main file that everything starts at. Technically, it would start with this, but you don't have to have that. That's optional. This is the README for it, which has some notes and things about it. Basically, it goes and finds every console. This is a thing I haven't finished setting up yet that will allow you to restore what previous arrangement was up there. but right now it just goes through, finds all the consoles, and creates them. It actually has its own little API that it creates, which is actually nothing. It's literally nothing. It's created for the sake of being a namespace. I also set some custom settings for the shell path and shell aliases, and that's to do with the terminal, because the terminal is actually kind of complicated in how it works down here, which is to do with basically, for some reason I can't access the shell API from this file. Maybe because it's executed through do file, I'm not really sure. But in any case, I had to kind of create my own kind of shell environment to make things work, and it's complicated. But yeah, basically we go through, create consoles. The initial console is called the select console and allows you to select other consoles. Also, every console calls this function, which is a real simple function that basically sets the top of the display and the text scale and clears it and sets things up nicely. And yeah, we also have this whole file is what does the keyboards, and like every keyboard is handled through this same system. I did a class system to make things work. This is the fake shell environment. Most of this stuff is placeholder, but a few things work as good as the actual shell in Computercraft. And then I have a whole bunch of designs for how I was thinking of making all the different kinds of consoles, and some of them I wasn't sure how to do it, so they're a bit complicated. That one's pretty much done. There's a list of them. There's navigation. There's ops, ops is the most complicated, crazy piece of crazy that you can imagine, because it's basically, if you look into the lore of Star Trek, the ops station combines power management, comms, and navigation. So down here I have like select frequencies or send reports or hail, like this little numpad and stuff, and frequency and these things here for different management stuff. This is supposed to be like power management here. This is supposed to be like communications, and then this is supposed to be a star chart, like, you know, looking around, and then this is magnification. You can zoom in and out, and then you have little arrows to look every which way. And it's crazy, and I thought about, and that was like the initial version, which is way all in one page. It's crazy. Internals, power management, comms management, sensors, and here I worked on doing a different thing where it's like instead you have some keys at the top, so you have SCN for scanning for sensors, COM for comms, and a little numpad button thing that goes to the power. And I haven't done it yet, but basically I decided I would design a page for each. This one is currently scan, which would look very similar to this navigation, which I just noticed navigation is not finished, because navigation is supposed to allow you to set a heading and speed. Well, not speed. Speed is purely up to the helm, but navigation, I want you to be allowed to. Actually, no, it's missing it right now, only because I'm not quite sure exactly how I'm going to finish things. Like, right here, like, it just says navigation, and it's a list, and you can look around, and then there's an I button, which is info for when something has been selected. I'm actually probably going to change that button to be instead a target or set heading or something like that, and just have it display information the moment you selected it. I also haven't decided what all these different possible icons will mean just yet, but I have like a few different ones that I've kind of plotted out. This is just kind of the center of the screen. It's not actually a ship or whatever, but yeah, this is a thing to work on.